Hello and welcome along as the Cross Series League Racing Championship returns this week. It's round 6. Oh, hello, that's our leader. That's Peterson. And Ross is just headed past him. We've just seen him flash through there. And Turn 1 claims yet another victim. Round 10 of the championship, and everything to play for a few of our drivers. As
there it goes.
There we go. I think there's just all of a sudden the daylight has fallen off the cliff, and there's people absolutely everywhere trying to find their way round, off track, left, right, and centre. Ghastly. Hoping for certainly not a ghastly race. As he's, tell you what, he's really fast and coats up onto that high line. Cower opting for a much lower one as we go green here for the final time at Lima Land. I mean, when you saw those two coming together in your mirrors, surely it must have been a big weight gone from your shoulders.
I just kept my foot in it and I just kept going.
Spoken like a true pro. Bit of a question. Obviously, are you going to remain? You're going to come out in a week's time. We're going to see you out on track as we head to Alicia.
Yeah, I plan to be there unless we get another last-minute decision to go racing here in real life. That was why I wasn't here last week. We decided to make a last-minute decision to go do some racing, and yeah.
And how did you get on?
What's that?
How did you get on? Obviously, when you went, well, I say real-life racing a couple of weeks ago.
Trey, let me put this to you in American terms. How well did you do last weekend?
Oh, pretty good, I think.
Here come the lights. Let's get ready to go racing in Germany for the first time. And Clog, he's jumped the start there. He's going to incur a penalty. Bouncing across the curves, the pair of them. And Thompson's finally going to let the run on him. He's going to be up the inside of the run down to K8 turn. And surely this is going to be from the lead. He backs out of him. Schenkler runs wide. But Thompson's finally got it. But here comes Ham. He's right into it, and he wants to plate off Schenkler. He wants to rob molten salt in his route right in these last stages. And let's get ready to go racing from Bristol in the grand final of round 5 of the XSLR Championship. And there's bang and Stein into the wall early.
Located just a short distance away from Reno, Wild West Motorsports Park opened in August 2012, and it was then added to the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series calendar in 2013, and it quickly became one of the most popular circuits in the United States for off-road dirt racing. Welcome to round 13 of the Cross Series League Racing Season 4. Tonight we have our first round of the dirt road section, the rallycross section. And wow, after an amazing, utterly stunning oval section that we've had a 2-week break and we are ready to get underway once again. My name is Sebastian Bosher-Williams. In the virtual production booth we have Jonathan Grabowski, but as ever I am joined by Alex Andersen. Alex, once again, welcome to the commentary booth. A little bit of a diminished grid for the opening round today, but that certainly won't take away from the action, the excitement that we're going to see out on the circuit. I mean, it's a huge departure, isn't it, from the last discipline of racing that we were racing a few weeks ago. I mean, dirt road is a very sort of uncommon discipline to race in iRacing.
Yeah, personally, I feel like it's one of the most underrated disciplines on the service. It's so fun. Even if you just spectator race, it's awesome to just watch a bunch of pro trucks or a bunch of rallycross cars shooting around a dirt road course for a couple of laps. Even though the races aren't very long, they are always action-packed and so fun to watch.
Oh, certainly concur with that. And, you know, it requires a really interesting driving style. And I'm sure, Alex, you are more of an expert when it comes to off-road cars than me. My most off-roading experience I have in iRacing is when I tend to hit the grass in a road circuit. But it's all about being smooth, being as calm as you possibly can be with the controls, just sort of gain as much lap time as possible.
Yeah, there's basically two distinct driving styles that I've come to find in the dirt road driving discipline. Is one, you just be smooth, consistent, you know, try and get through the corners as just calmly as you possibly can to try and keep the car nice and controlled. Or you can just drive it like a madman and just go for broke every single corner. You know, coming off the jumps up the hill for the first corner at this track, you can throw it sideways off the first jump and slide straight through the first corner if you know what you're doing. And it's just so impressive to see how certain drivers tackle these certain tracks.
Well, we're certainly going to see that come into fruition today. Qualifying underway, almost finished, in fact, and Adam Thompson, a familiar name in this league, heading to the top of the timing stands at 54.284, the quickest time in qualifying so far. Josh Clogg second, Irwin third, and Tim Cox fourth. Well, Josh Clogg was second, now finds himself in first place, and the first driver to break the 53 barrier, Tim Cox, a driver that had how would you, Alex, sort of rank Tim's overall sort of portion of the championship? Of course, it was his entrance into racing in this league. How would you rate his overall performances?
Well, I'd say for his first time racing ovals, I'd say it was a decent start. You know, he's got a bit of work to do on the oval side of things, but definitely wasn't the worst start of all time. Showed some promise, and I feel like maybe next season, if he decides to race in the oval discipline of this series once more, I feel like he can definitely pull up and show some great results.
I think he can as well. So he rounds turn 2 at the moment to go across the jump. I think we're going to see a little bit of a handbrake action there. Sort of discussing earlier on about the use of handbrakes and whether that sort of benefits you in terms of lap times, or if it can be a little bit of a disadvantage when it comes to the overall lap time. I mean, it's very fun to allow or to use the handbrake to get the rear to step up, or to step out, I should say, but it's not necessarily the quickest way of running a lap around a dirt or rallycross circuit. But qualifying then done and dusted, and here is your grid then for the first race of round 13, and Josh Clogg will start on pole with Adam Thompson starting alongside him in second place. Third place will be Kevin Irwin, Jake Ham in fourth, and Tim Cox rounds out a 5-car grid. And so, Alex, how do you play a start at a rallycross circuit? Is it all about being aggressive, or is it all about finding your rhythm and making those places as the race sort of comes to a conclusion?
Well, I would say that the start is probably the most important, as we know that the faster drivers are going to start to pull away. So I would assume that probably maybe Adam Thompson is going to try and launch off the start to try and get around Josh Clogg, and that's going to be pretty much a really key element, is trying to get these starts right, making the most of you can. Because if you can get out in front, it's not the easiest to make moves around these courses. So I would say track position, getting the lead off these starts, probably going to be the most important strategy.
So if you are Adam Thompson, then you'll be trying to heed that advice as much as possible. Try to get a good start. Try to get around the outside of Josh Clogg into what would be turn number 1. Of course, you can see by this camera shot how aggressively the track sort of raises up, it builds a lot of height before you get to turn 1. So that's going to add another layer of complexity into today's racing festivities. Waiting for 2 drivers to get to the grid. That's Jake Ham and Tim Cox. Ham appears on the grid. I think it's a moment of time before we see the 5th and final car of Tim Cox join the grid. He's got about 5 seconds to go, and there he is joining the grid there. So we get ready to go racing for the first time in the dirt road section of the XSLR series, and it's lights out And then we're underway. It's a good start from the top two. In fact, fairly even from all involved. Clog has got the inside line. Will pull to the outside to get the racing line. They all apply their brakes into turn one. Oh, Thompson's a little bit slow. Causes a concertina effect. 1, 2, 3 cars all go spearing round. I think that was Irwin being tagged by Tim Cox. Ham having to back off the throttle as we see down the outside goes Adam Thompson around the outside of Josh Clog. Clog now in second place. Can you get a good exit out of turn two as they head over the jumps for the second time? Thompson, is he in control of that car? I'm not quite sure. He'll get it his way. I said he'll make his way through turn three. And it's a good start then from Adam Thompson. Josh Clog following suit. But Irwin, Cox and Ham really sort of came together at turn one, Alex.
It looked to me as if Kevin Irwin hit the brakes trying to not hit Adam Thompson there, and then just Tim Cox and Jake Ham had nowhere to go. But great start from Adam Thompson as Josh Clog begins to chase your pole sitter, now trying to chase down the position he was in but a lap ago into turn number one. Looks like no handbrake from Josh Clog. I couldn't tell very well there. Adam Thompson trying to get that car turned, and two cars around. That's Tim Cox and Kevin Irwin.
Two cars then spearing out of control, and that's allowed Jake Ham to find his way up into the podium places. It's very much a race of two races, actually. You've got Thompson and Clog battling it out for the race lead, and Ham, Cox and Irwin battling for the final place on the podium. Thompson very wide on the exit of turn three. That might compromise his run down towards the final corner. Over the bumps they go. Hard landing there from Thompson. Does that give Clog a little bit of an incentive to send it up the inside? They're side by side on the exit. They'll cross the line to start lap number 3. Only 5 laps in this heat race. Thompson, though, manages to get a better exit out of turn 4, but Clog is really rapid at the moment and sends it to the inside, and Josh Clog once again takes the lead spot on board with Thompson, though. As you see, Clog is going to have the inside line for turn 2 as they head over the bumps once again. Thompson's going to try and dive down the inside, handbrake firmly applied. Thompson tries to find his way to the inside. That will become the outside for turn 3, but Thompson's going to have to concede the place, and Josh Clog, Alex, up into the race lead.
I don't know, Thompson immediately going back for it out of turn 3. A bit of contact there as they go side by side over these jumps down the short chute towards turn number 4. Onto the brakes once again. Adam throwing it sideways pretty early as Clog now has to get back to the inside. Thompson is going to retake the lead as they round turn 4 to start lap number 4.
So Thompson really aggressive under braking to make his way to the inside line. Clog was a little bit surprised, I think, by that move. So Thompson in the race lead, but Clog sends it to the inside. Oh, netcode contact between the two. I wonder, Thompson gets speared off or punted off to the outside of turn 2. That will give Thompson the inside line for turn 3. We know how deep he can get under braking. Clog tries to go all the way around the outside of turn 2. That will become the inside line for turn 3 if he can gain enough momentum, but he can't. Oh, Clog almost into the side of Thompson there as they make their way through turn 3. And it's looking like Thompson once again has the edge, but Alex, they're heading to the final lap of this race, and it's anybody's guess who will be the race winner here today.
You can just see how aggressive Adam Thompson is as he throws it over the jumps. Clog just took the lead after hitting him pretty much as they went into the 4th corner. Side by side down the front straightaways, there was another battle between Jake Ham and Tim Cox. White flag now as these drivers head up towards turn number 1. Sideways once again, Clog sends it in. Adam goes for the over-under here as they head up back down the hill towards number 2. Clog still barely there. They'll be side by side into turn number 2. This is on the last lap, so onto the brakes once more. Clog going to try and take it. Adam going for the over-under once more. A little bit of more contact as they head through turn 3.
Contact once again then between Clog and Thompson. Thompson forces Clog wide to try and get that inside line. It's who's going to get the better run. Contact once again between 1st and 2nd place. Clog was pushed sideways by Thompson. Will that give Thompson a little bit more speed down the back straight as he sends it now into turn 4, almost sideways there from Thompson, really taking that extreme inside line, trying to take the path of least resistance towards the racing line. They're going to go down towards the line side by side. Who will get the race win? They're almost going to cross the line simultaneously, and it will be Josh Clog who wins by 1/1000th of a second. What a finish to the first race. And we see Jake Ham finishes in 3rd, Tim Cox 4th, Kevin Irwin in 5th.
Seb, contrary to what you just said, I pulled up the iRacing results to see what the gap would be, And iRacing says, oh no, excuse me, no, I did not get it backwards. iRacing said that Adam Thompson got that by literally not even 1,000th of a second. It is 0.000. So I think Adam Thompson won that just barely. Yeah, he's starting on front. You could see those are the results. Adam Thompson in front, not even 1,000th of a second. That was insane.
That's not even the first time that has happened in the XSLR series. You have to go back to Talladega this season to show when our timing software got it wrong because they were so close. So Thompson will lead the second race here today, and Clog will have to finish, or have to settle to start in second place, I should say. Ham once again starts third, Tim Cox fourth, Kevin Irwin fifth. What a finish we saw there, Alex.
Yeah, that was absolutely incredible. That was not something I would have expected from this race, but the lights on once again for the feature here tonight as the lights come on the screen, and it's lights out, and away we go, and the green flag is out for the first off-road race in the XSLR Championship. Adam Thompson with a pretty good start here. Josh Clog going for it on the outside. Jay Cam up the inside now. In contact, that's going to send him to the lead. 3 wide in the back. Jay Cam now fighting with Josh Clog for the lead.
So Thompson, your race leader, demoted down to third. Can he make his way past Ham? Sam sent sideways, spearing almost like a battering ram, and we see Josh Clog fall by the wayside on the exit of turn 2. So it's Jake Ham, the new race leader, sending it to the inside. There was Tim Cox almost making contact with Adam Thompson. Thompson's found his way back to the race lead. I think Thompson's been in every position in the race so far. And that's even before we've got to turn 4. Ham in second place, Josh Clog in third as they all make their way into turn 4. Contact, 2 wheels there for Tim Cox. Cox, I don't think if that was necessarily planned. It looks cool, but I don't think that was his intention. Clog finds his way up to third. Thompson, though, leads the race, but I tell you what, Alex, Jake Ham there was very much acting like a battering ram heading into turn 2.
Oh, and Adam Thompson's around. That could have been off the back bumper of Jay Cam. Tim Cox is going to push his way through that one. Kevin Irwin gets a spot out of that too, and Adam Thompson now 8 seconds behind the leaders, finds himself in dead last, as now it's going to be Josh Clog getting around Jay Cam for the lead. These two will go side by side into turn number 3. It looks like Cam will swing out wide. He will clear Josh Clog as they head down the short chute towards turn number 4.
So Jake Ham really trying to defend from Josh Clog. Clog has the ability. We saw that in race 1. Sending it to the inside. Contact made between Ham and Clog. Can Clog keep it on the straight and narrow? Just about. In fact, it was Ham who was into the wall on the exit of turn 4 as they head across the bumps once again to start lap number 3. See how much air Ham was getting there. So Clog sets a new fastest lap of the race, 1.3 seconds quicker than Ham in second place. It certainly seems that this is Josh Clog's race to win, with Thompson getting tagged earlier on. Tim Cox finds himself in third place with Jake Ham in second. Ham, though, really struggling to get the car turned in for turn 2. Had to apply a lot of handbrake there, Alex, to almost make the corner, and that's going to allow Cox to catch up a little bit more, and Tim could be looking at a good second place finish here, at least.
Yeah, if he can just try and keep this car clean. He knows he has the speed to get around Jake Ham. As you see Adam Thompson there in the background heading through turn number 3. Jake Ham is, he's been trying his best. He's been doing pretty well. He's been up in the lead. Just unfortunate incidents have resulted him to being second at the moment after Adam Thompson falling back down to 5th place. So Josh Clog with the fastest lap right there. And Tim Cox, like you said, Seb, gonna have a shot at a second place if he can try and track down Jake Ham.
So 9/10 of a second separates Ham from Cox. As we see breaking into turn 2. That was wide from Clog. Clog lost a huge chunk of time, almost 1.5 seconds to Jake Ham in second place. Thought that could be where Tim Cox could make the difference. As you see how much steering angle Tim is having to put into the car, but still that the front end isn't rotating as much as he would have liked, and that allows Kevin Irwin to have a little bit of a look down the back straight as they head towards turn 4, and actually Tim Cox starting to struggle, starting to lag behind Jake Ham as we ride on board with Kevin Irwin over the bumps once again. It's just amazing that these cars, you know, manage to survive the punishment that these drivers are giving. Oh, Ham is into the wall. Major accident there for Jake Ham. Jake Ham is sideways, almost spearing back towards the centre of the track. Tim Cox has managed to find his way through. So is Kevin Irwin. Scary moments though, Alex, for Jake Ham there.
Yeah, and something just happened to Josh Clogg as well, because he started losing a lot of time, and now Tim Cox challenging for the lead through turn number 2. I'm not sure what just happened to Josh Clogg, but it looks like that's going to give the advantage to Tim Cox, and now all of them are slowing down.
I think they're having a little bit of a gentleman's agreement out on the circuit at the moment to allow Adam to catch back up. I saw that Adam was talking in the voice chat, and I think there might have been a little bit of gentlemanly agreement going on there. So Tim has taken the race lead. Not quite sure that Josh will be overly keen about that. So I'll tell you what, Alex, that was such a good start to the race. Why did we do it all over again?
Yeah, pretty much, as we're going to restart this race, it looks like, with 7 laps to go as Josh Clogg rounds the final corner in the lead. Tim Cox will be starting to his outside. I heard a bit of wall contact, not sure who that was, but these guys will head down the front straightaway to restart this race. There goes Clogg on the loud pedal. Down the front straightaway, he'll easily retake the lead. Now Jake Ham going side by side with Tim Cox up there, turn number 1. On the brakes once again as Jake Ham sends it sideways into the corner. He'll get around Tim Cox and he'll be challenging Josh Clogg for the lead. Adam Thompson through to 4th already.
Good start then from Clogg and Ham. Cox losing a position. That's wide there from Clogg. Jake hammers into the wall. That's going to allow Tim Cox to once again retake his 2nd spot. Adam Thompson making his way up to 4th already, challenging for 3rd. Irwin sent it to the inside though through turn 3. 6 laps gone of this 12-lap race as they head over the bumps down the back straight once again. Just see how much air these cars get. It's fairly fascinating. Thompson sends it to the inside, really uses the handbrake. Oh, contact made there. That must have been with him and Jake Ham. Ham will get the better run out of the corner. Once again, Josh Clogg is running away. Thompson talking on the voice chat. I wonder if they're already trying to reorganize another race restart. If anybody's sort of implemented one of these rules. Oh, Thompson sent it to the inside. So is Irwin. Both of them have come off worse for wear. And Thompson and Irwin falling back down the field once again. And maybe you could sort of you could hypothesize that it was Thompson's mistake, wasn't Thompson's mistake, I should say, for the first time. That certainly looked like that was Thompson's mistake right there and then. So Tim Cox and Jake Ham using the handbrake, really kicking the rear end out of his 85 car. Tim Cox trying to get the inside line, but once again, Alec, Adam Thompson really struggling, and we have a 3-car race once again.
It looks like, as we have pretty much a main battle for 2nd now, is Josh Clogg starting to check out, but I wouldn't count out Jake Ham, as he's really starting to close the gap now down this front straightaway. So, I mean, Jake Ham and Tim Cox, they aren't technically, they really aren't out of this race, as Tim Cox with a huge send down the inside. He'll move Jake Ham out of the way, and now Tim Cox going to take over 2nd place once more. And we'll see what Jake Ham does in retaliation to that. Heading through turn number 2, it looks like he'll try and send it back up the inside now. And it looks like Jake Ham, he's going to get there. And he'll have closed the gap to Josh Clogg in the process. So these two, even while racing each other, are starting to close the gap to the leader.
I wonder if Josh Clogg's just being a little bit cautious out there and almost trying to close the pack up once again. We saw him do that a few laps ago, and I wonder if that's going to be the case right here. Oh, Ham very much out of control, heading in to the final corner, turn 4, bumping with Tim Cox, shoving Tim out of the way. Tim getting hitting the bumper the wrong way, and the front bearing the brunt of the impact with the floor. Jake Ham is really quick in that final section of the track, but goes wide through turn 1. Does that allow Tim Cox to sneak it up the inside? That'll become the outside for turn 2. I think we might see Tim Cox go out wide and then sort of send the car in late, apply a little bit of handbrake. Actually, no, this time it's Jake Ham as they all sort of meander their way through turn 2. 9 laps gone, Alex, out of the 12 in today's race. Who is your favourite to get the race win here today?
I think it's got to be Josh Clogg. I mean, him is fast enough to close that gap down, but he's just been so inconsistent through the four corners of this racetrack that I think if Clogg can just keep his car clean, just hold on to it, just stay cautious up here, I think he'll end up with the win at the end of the day. But definitely don't count out Jake Ham, as you see almost side by side with Clogg out of the final corner. Ham is definitely closing.
Certainly is. Lap 10 then starts with Clogg being chased by Ham, Ham being chased by Cox, and don't count out Adam Thompson wide from Josh Clogg. That's going to be a huge mistake. Does that cost him the overall race win? Clogg, though, gets a better run out of turn 1 down towards turn 2. Will get it done under braking, but once again, the sort of bowling ball of Jake Ham strikes into action. And look at that. Look who's in the background of this shot. It's the one and only Adam Thompson looking at getting involved in on this action. There's 2 laps left to go, and if the 2 up ahead of him, should I say the 3 up ahead of him, continue to fight, but Thompson's very wide, almost finding the extremities of the racing track to the high side. Clogg leads, Ham second, Cox in third. Oh, that's very wide there from Jake Ham. Is that going to allow Tim Cox to get involved in on the action? I wonder. So they head over the bump. This time it's Jake Ham catching the bump in a fairly aggressive way. Won't be helping his suspension travel one bit. Through turn 1 we go then. Second to last lap, Cox sends it to the inside. All while this is happening, Alex, Clogg is able to escape just to run up the road, and it certainly seems that the more that these two fight, the easier Josh Clogg's race becomes.
And here comes Adam Thompson now, as Jake Ham missed that corner a bit, so Adam is going to get himself up into the podium places, and now it's all going to be on Tim Cox to try and catch up to Josh Clogg. But Adam Thompson doing a great comeback job here, and he might be looking to take over second as they head towards the white flag.
1 lap then to go after they all managed to survive turn 4. Should also shout out Kevin Irwin. He's just sort of lapping around, but has not been involved in on this action. He is another one that fell foul of turn 1. So white flag in the air then, 1 lap to go in today's proceedings. Clogg sets the fastest lap of the race on that last lap, 7/10 quicker than Cox in second place. Thompson gaining on Tim Cox, who will finish in third place. Oh, Ham sent it to the inside of Thompson, and Ham has come off worse, facing backwards, and that seals the fate for Jake Ham in 4th place. Tim Cox goes very wide through turn 2, will get away with that, but Thompson starting to really close in onto the back of Tim Cox as they head round turn 3. Adam prefers that inside, that tight line to get a better run. Contact made there on the exit, and Tim will get the better run. So it's all about who is brave under braking for the final corner, who can get the rotation that they need. Thompson really sets up Tim, tries to go wide at the first part of the corner to dive into the inside, but Tim places his car perfectly. Are we going to have another run to the line? Well, it's going to be Josh Clogg who takes the feature race win, and it will be Tim Cox in second place, Adam Thompson in third, and they all fairly have a spectacular celebration by wrecking their cars. And wow, 5 cars I don't think have delivered as good. What I'm trying to say is that we only had 5 cars out on the circuit, Alex, but it certainly didn't feel that way.
Yeah, there was battles all over the place there, which I was not expecting that. So that was very impressive from each driver. I just was not expecting that at all, and just fantastic race from everybody. I mean, that was very aggressive driving from Jake Ham. We saw how close he was to catching up to Josh Clogg, but just Josh able to pull away in the end and able to seal the deal for another win in the XSLR championship for him.
Okay, well, Alex, why don't you take us through your feature race results?
Well, I'd love to. Josh Clogg takes an easy win here in the closing laps of this race to win at Wild West Motorsports Park. Tim Cox there in second after a great final lap battle with Adam Thompson, who finishes third. Jake Ham ends his race in P4 after really showing some really aggressive driving there to almost take the lead for a little bit, but ends up with him almost 10 seconds back there in fourth. And Kevin Irwin got involved in an incident early on, just couldn't ever recover, finishes down there in P5, 37 seconds back. But Seb, what do you say we head to some interviews before we round off?
Then that sounds like a perfect idea, and the first driver I see eagerly awaiting an interview is the one and only Adam Thompson. Adam, Wow, that was a good first race. Side by side when you cross the finish line. In fact, you were so close that our timing software once again got the results wrong. So it was looking good for your feature race win, but it didn't quite go to plan.
Yeah, no, it didn't. I guess I'm just really good at doing those, breaking SDK things, because I've done that twice this season, because I did it again on my end as well. So it wasn't just you guys, but no, it was a lot of fun. We only had 5 drivers, and we were just trying to have a little bit of fun out there. Thanks to Josh for bringing out that, what we call a gentleman safety car. Towards the middle of the race to get everybody bunched back up again. Had a great fight there with Jake and Kevin as well, and that British guy that we're not going to talk about. But yeah, congrats to Tim for taking second. I thought I was going to have him, but just didn't quite get it.
Well, it looked super fun out there today. Are you a fan of these sort of dirt road cars? Do you tend to do much in when you're not racing XSLR, or is this sort of a completely new sort of genre of car for you?
I'm going to let you in on a little bit of a secret here, Seb. I hate these cars. Absolutely hate them. I have no idea how to drive them. No idea what I'm doing. Josh Clogg, unfortunately, cannot get interviewed tonight because he's on baby duty. He just had a baby a couple weeks ago, so congrats to you, Josh. But yeah, no, he's definitely the master at these. I have no idea what I'm doing, but learning every time.
It looked fun out there, certainly. Congratulations as well, I do believe, are in order to you as well, Adam, and anybody you'd like to give a shout out to at all.
Oh, are you about to do this to me here, Seb? Yeah, congratulations to me, but I would say congratulations to my now wife, Sarah. I've been calling her my fiance for a year now, at least. I don't know if it's as much of a congratulations as, and I'm sorry now that you're stuck with me, but thanks, babe, for watching and supporting every weekend, and everybody out there watching the stream, and the guys that came in here and raced tonight. I know it wasn't a huge turnout. I didn't expect it to be. I've been pretty busy, as you know. Thanks, John, for the for the post there in the Discord. But no, it's just huge shout out to everybody that watches the races and keeps XSLR running. I know there were a lot of people doing a lot of things this weekend, but should be a little better for next week. But yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun so far. And again, huge shout out to you guys. I'll give you guys a shout out every weekend for doing this for me.
Thank you very much, Adam, and congratulations on your first and third place, and we'll see you in 1 week's time.
Thank you, Seb. And one thing before I go, congratulations to that number 33 car as well.
I'm just looking at the gift John posted. Okay.
Alex,
Let's swiftly move on.
Yeah, let's move on from all of that. I hear you might be standing by with Kevin Irwin.
Yes, I am. As Kevin Irwin, you ended up finishing a P5 after quite an eventful race. After all, and I mean, what happened out there? I mean, it looks like you were struggling.
Not really struggling. I was just kind of trying to hang in there. I was doing pretty good. I had that little mix up in the kind of the middle there, but just kind of tried hanging in after that.
Yeah, and it looked like you had good speed there in the number 7 car, but it just looks like after that incident early on, just could never recover.
Yeah, I was trying to catch up. Thought I could do after that kind of the little gentleman safety we had there. Thought I'd be able to keep up there, but after the straightaway, I just kind of wasn't paying attention, veered off, and clipped that wall by pit entry.
And other than that, it was a pretty good show for you in the number 7 car. But before we let you go, anybody you want to thank up here?
No, not really. Just want to thank my wife, I guess, because she puts up with this every week.
All right, well, it looks like that's all I have for you, unless Seb has anything else for you. I'm going to let you go. Have a good night.
Yep, you have a good night too. Thanks.
And that was Kevin Irwin, finished 5th at the end of the day. And Seb, who have you got next for us?
I think we could have a little bit of a chat to a fairly familiar voice in the commentary booth, and that is Tim Cox. Tim, wow, that was a fairly adventurous race from your side. Are you a fan of these cars normally?
Yeah, I've driven them a little bit in the past, really, and yeah, always had good fun in them, and really enjoyable, and I think that translated across into the racing today.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like you were having a lot of fun out there. I mean, it did look like you were out of control a few times during that race, but I think that's sort of bound to happen with these cars.
Yeah, it does happen occasionally. We've got the handbrake, and it's so easy to knock. If you get nudged as well, get so unsettled, really, at times. I mean, yeah, it doesn't help it, but even so, it's being mostly front wheel bias. You can yank the front end round pretty easily.
And going into the second race, you were starting in 4th. Did you realistically think that second was on the cards today, or are you surprised to be finishing so high?
Well, I don't know really. I mean, I know in these races anything can happen, will happen, and does happen. So it's one of those things. Not too fussed about it. You're not that far from the front, so second row isn't too bad. The amount of times I've seen races won from the second or even row or behind on that. So on road racing, that's much more harder. So yeah, it wasn't too fussed, and it just all came together nicely.
It certainly looked that way. Alex, any questions you'd like to pose to Tim?
No, I think that's all I have.
Yeah, I mean, I can largely attribute the great race today. I know with Seb we've spoken quite a bit in the past, but I sort of share a bit of sort of my background. I actually grew up in America. Not a lot of people know this. It was actually in West Philadelphia. That's where I was born and raised, and you spent quite a bit of my time outside
on the pavement, I think, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. I used to play basketball in the playground quite a bit, and yes, and anyway, when one day some people sort of came up to me and started causing a bit of trouble in the neighborhood, and anyway, got into a bit of a scuffle, and anyway, my mother got a bit upset and a bit frightened, and she decided to move me to another part of America, and yeah, it sort of really taught me a lot. And anyway, I arrived there feeling very confident, and taxi driver actually took me to the house, and when feeling a bit confident, said to him, "I'll smell you later, I'm off." And well, that was just how I became the the person I am today, and ended up well, actually, because there was sort of slight royalty, I ended up as the prince, actually, in a little town called Bel Air. So there you go. That's all. So I'll leave that on to my closing thought for you.
All right, well, I think we appreciate that.
That's all right, mate. That's all right. No worries.
Thank you very much, Tim. Please don't come back to the
No
commentary
worries.
booth.
I won't. Don't you worry.
Here, you know what? Here, Tim. Next time you come back, all right. See if you can do that again, but with a different song. All right, do that again with a different song. I want to hear what you can do.
No worries.
Tell us the story.
I will come up with another story around a different tune for you next time.
Sounds like a plan. Well, thank you very much, Tim. Congratulations on your second place, and for thoroughly entertaining us in the commentary booth.
No worries. No worries. I'm gonna.
And he's gone.
And he's dead.
Yeah,
He's no longer with us.
He's thankfully. Wow, what?
Damn.
What a race we've had today, Alex. It's been highly fun, highly adventurous, and really thoroughly enjoyable.
Yeah, it was a lot more entertaining race than I certainly expected. So I enjoyed the show that the XSLR guys produce. They always give us a show whenever we visit their series, and just another great race.
Certainly was. Well, in a week's time, we are back to racing once again. More dirt oval action, but until then,
Dirt road.
As I say, dirt oval. I have
did.
resisted the temptation so often. So Until then, thank you so much for tuning in. My name has been Sebastian Bosher-Williams. I've been joined by Alex Andersen. In the production trailer, we have had Jonathan Grabowski, and we will see you in 1 week's time as we have more dirt road action.